So the first thing I'd like to do in this welcome is, I'd like to take a moment to honor those that have come before me. And while I know that we're all zooming in from all over Oregon, I'm going to focus this land acknowledgement on Salem, where we would be meeting if we were lucky enough to be able to meet each other in person. So I'm gathering you today from the land of the Kalapuya, who today are represented by the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz Indian, whose relationship with this land continues to this day. I offer gratitude for the land itself, for the Indigenous people who were stewards of it for generations, and for the opportunity to live, learn, work, and be in community on this land. I acknowledge that our history is fundamentally tied to the first colonial developments in the Willamette Valley. I acknowledge the harm done by the legacies of colonialism and express my commitment to learn and work in the true spirit of community. And along those same lines, I went ahead and put in some links for anyone else who would like to commit to additional learning at the top there. So there's a little bit more about the significance and guidance related to land acknowledgements, a little bit of history if you want to look up your own address, and then ODE's American Indian and Alaska Native Education website, which has a lot of additional resources there. So I just wanted to get us started with that, and then I'm going to actually turn it over to Janelle and Donna.
Great. Thank you so much, Melinda, for taking on this task of recruiting, finding a CTE advisory, and starting us off. I'm Janelle Eise. I'm the director of CTE in the state at the secondary, post-secondary transitions team at ODE. And I am so excited that all of you are willing to share your voices, your expertise, your experience, your communities with us. And I apologize, I'm still working at home, and as you can hear, my birds are a little loud, so I might move downstairs. But we can't do CTE without the partners in our community, and all of you represent wonderful communities that contribute to quality career technical education in Oregon. And I know that having your voices at the table to help give us advice and to help direct us and problem solve and meet the needs of Oregon fully is going to be a huge asset to CTE in the state. So I can't thank you enough for your contributions, your willingness to be ambassadors, your willingness to listen to your constituents and your friends and families and your partners that you work with, and bring those voices back to this table to help improve CTE. So thank you for your commitment. And I know it's like right before a 3-day weekend and a holiday and summer after very long and hard work. So thank you for being here and getting to know one another.
So I don't think I can really add anything to that other than to just echo what Janelle has said. My name's Donna Welling. I'm the interim director of the Office of Community Colleges and Workforce Development at the Higher Education Coordinating Commission. I have the pleasure and honor of working really closely with Janelle and the team at the Oregon Department of Education, as well as several of the members of our CCWD team at the Office of Community Colleges and Workforce Development. I am super excited about the work that lies ahead. Each of you were intentionally picked to represent a variety of stakeholders so that we could really get a holistic view of how we should be continuing our work and implementing the CTE state plan. So thank you once again. Thank you to Melinda for helping get us all wrangled together and set up for today. And I just look forward to our continued partnership and work together in the coming years.
Great, thank you. So now all of you get a chance to introduce yourselves. Hopefully you were able to create a slide. If you weren't, no problem, you still will get 30 seconds or so to share a little bit of yourselves with us. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go to the slides. And we're just going to go in order of which they were created, because I just figured that'd be the easiest. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can all see those. And I am going to make sure I'm clicked on what I need to be clicked on. And here we go. So can everybody see that? Or is there anyone who cannot see that? Can somebody give me, oh, thank you. I got a thumbs up. Perfect. Okay. So we shall start. Oh, we don't need to start with the instructions, but I'll go ahead and start since this was my request. You got to be willing to do what you're asking others to do as well, right? So again, my name is Melinda Shell. I'm the Perkins Grant Manager, CTE Investment Specialist at ODE. Some of the strengths I bring to this group: project and program management, creative problem solving, and I'm a learner, and that includes quite a few things. And I threw in some of my Clifton strengths because I do subscribe to that quite a bit. And so ideation and restorative kind of go along with that creative problem solver. And a fun fact, I rode in a Goodyear blimp. And some of these pictures just talk a little bit about me and my family. So the top line are my kids, my daughter Madison, my son Jonah, and my newest fur baby Bear. And I play roller derby, so that is also could be a fun fact. I am a huge beaver fan. I'm a third generation beaver. I worked at OSU for quite a few years, so I'm a beaver. And so my son going to UVO is a little bit of I'm still struggling with that. I came to ODE from LBCC, so I just have a little picture there of the mascot. And then I love to travel. And so there's just a picture there of me in Cambodia and also in Ireland. So, all right, so we will go to the next slide. Charlie.
First of all, excuse me. Hi, everybody. I've got to leave you at 11:30 this morning. We have both of my daughters in town this weekend. Actually, one of them is here and the other one is in from Washington, D.C. And so we're going to be spending time with them. So apologize that I'm going to have to duck out early, but I'm glad we're recording this. But again, I guess as far as strengths and so forth, I've been actually involved in the school to work for far too long to actually count and so forth, but it's primarily from a manufacturing standpoint. I was on the workforce development board. I've been in development in school, involved in 24J, regionally through the state. And then I've done some national and state by state issues as well, dealing with speaking as well as CTE. My passion is really the desire to engage kids within the process of contextual learning. So I love CTE for what it is. I've been lucky enough to be able to work with Portland Community College for a couple of years of giving kids at the end of their school year the reward that they deserve for the accomplishments that they have. So, and then the last one is that even though we're a small company, our company is actually a public company. So I have the honor of running a company that's traded on the NASDAQ. So if any of you like what you hear, by the way, our stock's for sale on NASDAQ. So that's my pitch.
Thank you, Charlie. Okay, we have Carla.
I don't think Carla could make this meeting. Melinda, she's not here yet. And you're muted. I think so. Everybody get to know Carla through the slide.
Sorry, I was scanning all the faces trying to find people, and then I couldn't get back to my own face to unmute myself. Apologies. So we'll go to, is it Marcia or Marcy?
It's Marcia.
Okay, Marcia, thank you.
Yes. Hi, I'm Marcia Latta. I am a CTE teacher at Oak Creek Correctional Facility in Albany. So I work on the youth correctional education program side, and I've been there for about 5 years. I also have a small business that I've run since about 2006, where I specialize in bond communications and bond campaign consulting. I was a communications consultant for Salem Kaiser School District before that, where I worked on their bond, and I've worked on communications and consulting issues for campaigns for about 30 different districts in Oregon and Washington since that time. And through that work, I have really seen the value of the importance of partnerships between schools and the community and business. You know, most of these programs, it seems that we're building for bonds, do support the CTE or programs where, you know, they're helping build skills for high demand family wage work. So I'm really excited to be here. At Oak Creek, I teach digital fabrications through ODE. We got a grant for a vinyl cutter, and since then we purchased a laser engraver, CNC router, and I think providing these skills to our students who may not have had exposure to technology, to machine tools, to business skills. You know, it's just my goal to give them that introduction and help them understand that, you know, this is kind of where their future could be. They could find a lot of great opportunities. We just want to open that door to them before they leave. And my slide includes some photos of me with my daughter. She was a recent graduate at South Salem High School, and we're there in Redmond, where I grew up. Underneath that is a picture of my happy place. We have we like to go to Waldport to the Elsey River. And my dog Murray is kind of our little pride and joy down there at the bottom. He's a Shih Tzu Pit Bull mix. So I'm glad to be here, and thanks for letting me share that.
Thank you. All right. Okay, the other Carla. We have two Carlas.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Carla Arciniega. I am a project coordinator with Lane Community College. I work for the office of the Associate Vice President of the School of Professional and Technical Careers. That's a mouthful. And I lead the Perkins Grant at the college. Some of my strengths are networking, collaboration, and problem solving. I have a bit of an analytical mind, so I like to analyze and fill in the gaps. I'm also an ACTE Post-Secondary Success Leadership Fellow. So ACTE offers this professional development fellowship program for post-secondary folks, and I am very proud to be a part of the third cohort. I'm learning a lot about CTE, about advocacy and policies, and the plans around CTE nationwide. I am very passionate about equity, inclusion, diversity, and career technical education and student success. And a fun fact about me is that I'm Peruvian, and I actually went to a German school in Peru. It was a really fun experience growing up with so many different languages. And the pictures is my family. That's my main motivation, my inspiration, including my two little guys right there, my boxer and my panther. They're little mates, they're brothers. So I definitely like a challenge. And the very bottom is a picture of me and my cohort in DC. So I'm doing a master's program in public administration with Portland State University, and I'm just about done with it. So it's very exciting. And that picture was taken like right before the pandemic closed everything down. So we came back from DC and goodbye in-person class. And that has been a challenging, that was a very challenging learning experience, moving from in-person to Zoom. So I can feel for all of our students for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Margaret.
Hello, everyone. My name is Margaret Mahoney, and I am the CTE Teacher Licensure Specialist on the team at ODE with Melinda and Janelle. I share, looking through these slides, I share my strengths with many of you. Prior to coming to ODE and when I started my career in education, I started out as a teacher and then spent many years in higher ed in the teacher preparation arena. My fun fact is that I've traveled to all 50 states, And my pictures include the loves of my life, my husband, Michael, and my dog, Ginger. And I also wanted to let everyone know that I'm supporting efforts today by taking notes. So I may be taking myself off camera at times so that my typing is not a distraction for the group. Thanks again to everyone for being here. We really, really appreciate you.
And thank you, Margaret, for helping out with note taking. All right, Kristie.
Hi, I'm Kristie Reese. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Director of Operations at FACT Oregon. And for those that may not know about FACT, we are the Parent Training Information Center for the state federally funded designation that supports families who experience disability. FACT, our mission is to empower families experiencing disability in their pursuit of whole lives and to transform how disability is seen. And you see my pictures are my whys. I entered the disability world when my son was born, and my husband has some chronic health conditions, and so they ground me. And I look forward to bringing a perspective as a parent of a young man who's 17, has always been a doer, and creating access for all students, regardless of where they're from, especially those that we wouldn't necessarily think of for this type of thing. And my son inherited my love for heavy metals, so we share that. We like to listen to hard rock together, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you. All right. Ben, yeah, you're here. Great.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Ben Garcia from Talent, Oregon. I was away for many years, but I've been back for 6 years here in my hometown next to Ashland. I'm the education manager at Southern Oregon PBS. That had me doing many different projects because it was grant-based initially, but we settled on PBS NewsHour Student Reporting Labs as my flagship project. But those early 3 years had me developing a lot of programs and projects, and the program logic model is my favorite tool for that process. I'm a community partner in a say prospective CTE pathway study, because I'm not sure how far along it is. My partner at Medford Schools, Hal Jones, some of you might know, kind of leading the charge with that POS. So we're really excited about it. And we're partnered with NewsHour and of course my local station and Southern Oregon University and RCC. So super psyched about that process right now. I'm a Latinx educator, and I started as a high school English language arts teacher and taught in Portland Public, and also in Mexico at American schools, and in China at IB World Schools. I'm originally a teacher, and I might go back to that world someday. During the fun fact, during the first part of the pandemic, a middle school teacher and I produced 130 plus telecourse episodes for homebound students as a part of Medford Schools experimentation with different forms of distance learning. They eventually settled on Canvas and Zoom, but we had this really fun moment for 3 months where we were working with a lot of early elementary teachers and producing television shows, which my station aired. And so that was such a blast and highlight of my professional career so far. Thank you for having me, and I yield my time to the next person.
Thank you. And I think I just realized that it might not be in full mode for you guys. Is that correct? Okay. Does that help? Sorry about that. Let's try the next person. Okay, Elaine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elaine Cerpante Philippi. I'm the executive director at IMFRAL. IMFRAL is a nonprofit organization that was formerly known as the Business Education Compact. We've been doing work in Oregon for 37 years. I've been with them for 10 years. And specifically, our programs engage students who have been historically underserved in Oregon. So focusing on Black and Brown students and students navigating poverty in career to work and school connections, right? So hands-on learning, project-based learning in elementary, middle, and high school. And our engagement model, the way we implement, is through business and school partnerships. So I bring to this group, I hope that it's evident, strategic systems thinker and implementer. I'm always thinking about things differently and at a very high level. And I love to use that thinking to help people and myself push forward to bigger dreams and goals. In this space, specifically thinking about who's not accessing CTE. I have extensive experience with industry and education partnerships that are year over year. So not in the one-off space or career fairs, but really in committed partnerships that are hoping that things will be different because of the work that our businesses and schools do together. And I like to rethink and reorganize at the organizational level. So I'm always asking questions and very curious about how we could do things differently. I am intensely focused and passionate about racial and social justice. And my fun fact, in high school, I was the lead singer of a band called Life in General. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. All right. Kelly.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Kelly Cousino. I am the Assistant Director of Work in MESA. MESA stands for Math, Engineering, Science Achievement. We are based at Portland State University, but we operate programming in middle and high schools across the state and are primarily in the Portland Metro and South Metro Salem region, but are expanding into Klamath Falls this year, which we're really excited about. We are focused on equity and primarily through invention and project-based learning. So our students are inventing solutions for clients in their communities. Strengths I bring, I'm always thinking about partnerships, particularly like how are we actually creating liberating experiences for our students through STEM and CTE. I think that STEM or CTE specifically is such an empowering experience for students, or can be if it's done properly. And how can we, bridge these different experiences to connecting to real world opportunities, as many have already mentioned. Collaboration, I work with partners across K-12, nonprofit, industry to create experiences that are ongoing and sustained for students. And then also just mainly, this is a fancy way of saying I'm impatient. Sense of urgency. I want to get things going now. There's obviously a big disparity that's been created by the pandemic, but it already existed previously. And I'm excited about how can we do intentional and meaningful work, but how can we start now? Last year, my fun fact is I renovated my childhood home, the entire thing. And this summer, this spring, I just finished building a deck, and I love tacos. So those are excited to be here.
Thank you. All right, Kyle.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kyle Ritchie Knowl, and I am the Education and Workforce Policy Director for the Oregon Business Council. And OBC is a CEO roundtable. If you've ever heard of business roundtables in other states or at the national level, that's essentially what OBC is here in the state. I'm really excited to be here. I've been involved in STEM and CTE and sort of school to work efforts for a long time. And as others have said, it's just exciting to see all these faces and all of us coming together to work on this. But what I hope I can bring to this process is a focus on systems change and public policy. That's really the work that we do at OBC. As I said, I've got extensive experience in employer engagement and industry education partnerships. And I've always approached this work really more from the employer side. And so excited to think about how employers can really contribute and the important role they play in supporting students. I'm really passionate about thinking about how we more equitably connect all Oregon learners to opportunity, really understanding their interests and their talents and the role that we all play in making sure we help foster that and then connect them to opportunities for their future. And I bring a skill set in building collaboration and partnerships, and along with that, a really broad and eager network of partners and companies who are excited to do this work. So my fun fact, I married my high school sweetheart. We're still married, I'm happy to say. And interestingly, I have 3 older brothers. They also all married their high school sweethearts. So I'm not sure what that says about our family, but they're wonderful people, and we're all very happily married to this day. And my pictures are my family, my loves, as other people have said. And my grandkids are the newest chapter in our lives, which we're enjoying immensely. My grandson Samson will turn 3 tomorrow. So we're preparing to have a fun celebration. And my granddaughter Ellis was our COVID gift. She was born right in the middle of all the scary times. And I didn't get to hold her for 3 weeks, but very happy to have them now in our lives. So I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. All right, Keilani.
Hi, everyone. My name is Keilani Balfour. I am the CTE Regional Program Manager at Multnomah Education Service District. I bring a few things to the group. I am all about collaboration. I'm pretty darn student-centered with a passion for CTE. In fact, I've followed CTE from an old job to a new job because I think it's so important. One of the other things that I do for MESD is I work on the re-engagement team, and having seen students that have been previously disconnected get excited about education and want to be there because of the connections that are being made, actually getting to experience something hands-on to do it is a big deal for me. I also love to build community, and I enjoy facilitation. I cheated and I put 2 fun facts. I love to build wood furniture, but I didn't put any pictures on it because I'm not very good at it yet. And I love dancing, particularly 80s night and 90s night. So as soon as we can start to do that again in person, I will happily build community with y'all and go 80s, 90s night dancing. Thanks for having me.
I'll try to add that to our future topics list. All right, thank you. All right, Donna.
So Keilani, when you're ready, just give me a call. I'll be there with you. So I already introduced myself. Some of the strengths that I hope I bring and believe I bring are passion for creating seamless educational pathways to meaningful employment for all students, regardless of where they start their educational journey. I have over 25 years, I don't want to admit it, but over 25 years in education policy work. I started in actually Head Start, so pre-kindergarten, and have worked in various positions over the years throughout the continuum and now in post-secondary. I have a very strong project management background, so I hope that will help in terms of me being able to provide whatever deliverables get assigned to me and our team at CCWD. My fun fact is I married my best friend. He is the craziest person. He does all kinds of fun things and always makes me laugh. We have 3 adult children, one of which is actually disabled and is 4'9" and is amazing because they are expecting their 4th child. We have 7 grandchildren right now, and number 8, as I just mentioned, is arriving in October. And as you can tell by our pictures, they are the heart and soul of us. We have at least 1 or 2 of them pretty much every weekend, and it's not unusual to have, as you'll see, 5 or 6. So.
Thank you. All right, Avril.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Avril Watt. I'm the General Manager of Johnson Crushers International. So we're a heavy manufacturing business that's located here in the Eugene Springfield area. I'll refer to the bottom right picture there, you probably figured out with my accent that I'm not from here originally. So St. Patrick's Day is kind of a big deal for me. So you can figure out where I'm from. My strengths, workforce development. The hashtag Work Ready program is an effort between Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce, the City of Springfield, and the school district. That was started a few years ago, and we've had some success with that. So been very involved with that, and with any colleagues who are on here from LCC. We're right across the freeway from them, so we have an ongoing relationship there. Working in heavy manufacturing for the number of years, that's why number 3 is there. When you're in the trenches trying to figure out how to build something, and I snuck in a couple of pictures of some of the items that we build. And you need those CTE skills. Those skilled labor. You just learn really quick how to keep it real and get things done. And my fun fact is that before I moved here 25 years ago, I actually was involved with something that ended up where I met the Queen of England, the current Queen Elizabeth II. So she's a tiny lady. She's barely 5 feet tall. So the cameras don't really show that. Pictures, that's me out in the workplace up on the top right. On the bottom left are 2 of the little loves in my life. They currently live in Ireland. That's my niece Arabella and my nephew Barney, the chocolate lab.
Great, thank you. All right, Michelle. I think I saw Michelle. Michelle, I don't see Michelle. Okay, so read about Michelle when you get an opportunity. Everyone will have access to these slides. We'll talk a little bit more about that. All right. And can you help me pronounce your name? I don't know. I've heard it a couple different ways in different meetings, so I would love to know the accurate pronunciation. Regina. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm Aguina. I'm a CTE Mathematics Instruction Specialist at the High Desert ESD in Redmond. We're working with all Central Oregon school districts from the Columbia Gorge down to Klamath Falls. And I kept it short with strengths I bring. I don't know where to start, but it's one of those. I'm a big believer in making mistakes, allowing for mistakes, and with others and myself, and moving forward, which is part of the design process, this continuous improvement. I'm a strong believer in that, and learning from our mistakes and moving forward. I like to rethink things. It goes along with a lot of these, what has been included in other presenting about themselves, not being satisfied with the status quo, always thinking for the next step, and also having an opinion, but also rethinking my opinion if I get good argumentation, and being open to that. Always to rethink how things are done and my point of view of things. Humor, for me, humor is very important in a lot of things. You shouldn't take everything too seriously. We have to just move on. I always put a calculation into that. I'm a big fan of geology and thought our lifetime versus the lifetime of the earth, and that we take ourselves many times way too serious, and see the humor in things as times to move forward, and not to take everything too seriously. Big, I didn't put that on inclusion, equity, access, and diversity. I'm part of the ACTE team for the first cohort, mentoring and menteeing around the diversity topics, which is a really insightful work. Have been involved in that work for years myself. So you can hear from my accent with the pictures. I'm not from this country either. I'm from Germany. I put a picture in from the place I am when I go back. It's called Bodensee, Lake Constance, border Switzerland and Austria. Up top, my immediate family. I also have a large family in Germany still, which I try to meet regularly as I can, without COVID restrictions as we speak. I just looked at it, how it is to travel there this year. So hopefully I can make it. And I always enjoy meeting people. I grew up with a big variety of cultures, Italian, Turkish, Greek in my neighborhood. So I always love to meet people from other cultures and learn and see how things are done and thinking processes are done in different cultures to keep me on my toes.
Thank you. All right, Megan.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Megan Cogswell. I'm the Director of Apprenticeship at Chemeketa Community College. I'm in Salem on our Salem campus. I've been at Chemeketa for 10 years. I spent my first 5 teaching adjunct and full-time in the geography department, including teaching geography of Oregon, which helped me understand our fantastic state even deeper. With my work with apprenticeship, I work with 4 different JATCs or apprenticeship committees, and we also have 2 pre-apprenticeship programs at our college. Our high school program has been replicated throughout the state, which is exciting, including down in Southern Oregon and Eugene, so that's fun. I'm also a member of the OCCAC, which is the Oregon Community College Apprenticeship Consortium, so regularly meet with that group. I have a really eclectic work history. I worked part-time to try to stay home with my 2 sons, and you can see they're adults now, one at U of O and one at Western Oregon. But I worked in development, education advocacy, worked with Stanford Children. I worked at the Salem Kaiser Coalition for Equality, which is awesome, was really exciting work. I did an AmeriCorps in Eugene years and years ago, the RARE program, which was really interesting. Worked with a statewide community economic revitalization team. So I've done a lot of interesting statewide work. I grew up in Northeast Portland, but I've been in Salem for over 25 years. So somehow when you're from Portland, you always have to say I'm from Northeast Portland. I'm a huge believer in ladders out of poverty and creating roads to success for folks. And I see that in CTE. I think it's really important work that we can all be doing. I love trying new things. I like to share and work together. I feel like if we're not messing up, then we're not trying hard enough. And I really do think of folks, I know a lot of you on this, which is great. But I always feel like folks are just friends I haven't met yet. So you don't know it, but we're friends. I love to travel. I have a quarantine dog, which you can see. That's his puppy picture. But Phineas Quarantino is now 1.5 years old. A couple things I do love to teach people how to juggle. I worked at Camp Westman for years when I was growing up, and now my 23-year-old son is working there as well. So that was really gratifying to get going. Couple other quick things. I met my husband, Paul, who's upper left in the pictures, in the Peace Corps in Guatemala. So I call Peace Corps the international dating game, and it worked for us. So I'm just really excited to be here and to see everybody, and look forward to meeting folks in person. Thanks so much. Oh, and my photos, that's my mom, Pam, and my brother, Peter, in the lower left. He works for BPA, but worked for the state for years, Peter Cogswell. That's my 2 sons. And then I'm in the upper photo, that's Frosty Adams. We launched a campus-based pre-apprenticeship program with internship this June, and I'm really excited to share more information about that pilot. So thanks again.
Thank you. All right, Janelle.
I can just say I'm so glad we're taking time to get to know one another. I read a lot of the applications, so I felt, but getting to see your slides, thank you all for taking this time. I think what a great group of people we have pulled together to give us advice and to help direct and think about systems change and innovation. And love of innovation and systems design is one of the strengths I bring. It's a little bit hard sometimes at the state agency when you really like to change things up and do things a little bit radically, but I'm learning to navigate that way, really centered on learners. Like, our systems, like our problems, are often adult systems problems, and I really love focusing on the learner and getting them what they need. I have a lot of diverse career experience, and I also am a small business owner, so I've got to experience CTE for the last 4 years in a very different way in running and creating a business here in Salem. So fun fact, I am an entomologist by training. I went to graduate school in entomology, and I studied ants, and as part of that experience, I learned I'm allergic to eating insects, so I can't eat what I used to study. My husband up in the corner, we've been together a very long time, just since our teenage years. My kids, I have a son, Dante, who's 6'6", and my daughter, who's 14, is less than 5 feet. So they look really cute together. The ants that I studied, the monomorium, are there. I play the mandolin and went to a mandolin camp a few years ago, which was a lot of fun before COVID. I have lots of fur babies. That's Bella. She's a mutt. She's actually mostly chow chow, though she doesn't look it from that picture. And then a picture of me on my my weekend gig at the Saturday market, selling what I do for my small business. So just thank you all for being here. Again, I will have to leave at noon to another meeting, but I just appreciate all the great expertise and learning we have here.
Thank you. All right, Luis.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Luis Juarez. I'm an education specialist for the Office of Community Colleges and Workforce Development in the Higher Education Coordinating Commission. Some of what I bring include lots of years of experiences at the 2-year and 4-year post-secondary level. I think I cut my teeth at probably one of the best institutions in the Northwest at the University of Washington. Spent 13 years there, and then I moved my talents down to Corvallis, where I was assistant director there at the Corvallis campus. So some great institutions, certainly higher education, very, very focused on admitting and getting students through there. That was the non-CTE side of the house. For the last almost 8 years, I've been working with some amazing people here in Salem in the CTE world, which I'm totally committed to now and excited to continue to be a part of. You'll see that I've also throughout my career supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion in all its forms, numerous conferences and seminars, workshops, presentations at all levels, near and far, in those categories. I also bring in a very extensive background in student services, everything from college admissions to recruitment, counseling, advising, financial aid, placement testing at one level or another. One of the fun facts that I recently found out about my family was that my dad was an extra in a movie down in Mexico in 1956 with one of that country's major movie stars. In the upper left-hand corner, I was able to track down an original 1956 poster for the movie that's called Los Bandidos de Rio Frio, which translated means the bandits of Cold River, which is the name of the town. This was filmed in close to my dad's hometown. So he was one of the extras in the movie. I like to think that he's one of the guys riding the horses down there at the bottom right-hand corner of the poster that I had. They put the poster back together. It was in rough shape, and so they kind of renewed it. And I've yet to hang it up, but I plan to here pretty soon. The major movie star there in Mexico would probably be akin into the 50s of somebody like John Wayne or Clint Eastwood. So it was pretty cool to be able to find that out about my dad. You'll see a picture of myself and my wife, Christina, on one of our trips. And I think it's the same trip that has the Chichen Itza pyramid that you see in the lower picture there, one of the highlights of my life. I'm a history buff, and so it was like a kid in a candy store down in Cozumel, and then at Chichen Itza to be able to see that after 4 or 5 hours in about 95-degree weather. I discovered that we probably had seen about less than 5% of that 25-mile Mayan empire. And so one of my, although I checked that off my bucket list, it's back on my bucket list to go back and try to renew that adventure and try to see more of what I'm really excited about. And that's places like Chichen Itza. So anyway, thank you. I'm excited to be a part of this group and look forward to contributing and being a teammate around this conversation. Gracias.
Thank you. All right, Marcy.
Hey, thanks so much for all of this. I've really enjoyed getting to know everybody. Kind of on our campus, we had a bring your whole self to work mentality, and this just brings that of how important that is. So I'm relating with so many of you through your stories, so thank you for that. I do think we'll all be friends. So I come to you from Lynn Community College as a career and advising support specialist. And I've worked there since my daughter was 1, my oldest daughter. So that's kind of how I keep track of how many years. So transitioned a lot during that time. So My roles have been orientation, high school recruitment, career counseling, advising, job placement, career fairs, workforce councils, employer connections. I'm kind of one of the lead contacts for employers posting jobs, which has been very busy. Really love my work. It's changed over the years. I've been a part of CIS board. I've been on our regional Lynn Benton Lincoln committees for high school transitions and internships in CTE. So I'm really passionate about the work that this committee is going to be doing. So I'm excited to get a chance to be a part of it. My strengths, I put the funny one that I'm known for in my department. I'm the detail-oriented, organized event planner, party planner, color coding, organizing. Anyone want help with that? I'm your girl. So you can find me in the details and just love doing that. And I have a picture of my family. So I got 3 children. My oldest actually now works with me at the college. So that's been kind of fun to see her. My other one went through a CTE program in dental assisting and loves her job. And my son's still in high school and trying to get him into the CTE programs. He's a very hands-on learner and active in ADHD. So I think it'll be a perfect fit for him. And then my grand dog helping me work there. She sits on my lap when we're working from home on my recliner and peeks up when it's time to play. And my faith is an important part. So just loving God as others love others, is kind of my motto. And then my fun fact was that I was a member of a traveling water ski show. And they came to visit Albany, where I grew up. And my dad learned backwards slalom ski when he was in college. And he taught me when I was a kid. So we were like the local act of the water ski show. And then when I moved to Portland to go to college, I joined the team. So we traveled around and I did fancy pyramids, barefooting, backwards show skiing, all kinds of fun stuff. So that was my fun childhood adventure. So now I just play in the water a lot. My body doesn't want me to ski as much anymore, but it's still my passion to be in the water. So thank you all for letting me share, and it's been great getting to know you. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you. All right, Edith.
Hi, everybody. First, I am excited to be here and be part of this committee. My name is Edith Ramirez. It was hard to put the title representation. I think I don't have all the expertise of everybody. So, well, right now I am office assistant and former CTE student, and I graduate on June from the Mental Health, Social Services and Addiction Counseling Associate. At Manhood Community College. The strengths I bring is experience as a student in CTE programs, critical thinking and open-mindedness and empathy about the both limitations and weakness and strengths of students, diverse students or underrepresented students. I am a lifelong learner because I started learning English 8 years ago, and it has been a very excited way to learn and learn other language, but also learn about myself and community engagement because throughout my 8 years that I am living here, I have organized different programs and I am part of, I like to interact with community. And I have in my pictures, on 2018, I graduated from the career pathway office clerk. This is my family, my husband and my parents. And also I was part of the New Leadership Oregon. And this picture is with the 2 governors, women governors of Oregon. And in fact, this picture is my fun fact because I was the only person who English was not fluently, but was the only one in 40 women that I got the picture. And my partners, they call the pictures like the ninja picture because I was the only one to get it. And I was part of the NAEP, National Alianza for Partnership and Equity, and here is Luis too in that picture. Yeah, I am from Mexico, and the picture is the graduation one. I put my two flags because even though I am from Mexico, this country has gave me many tools to support others and to grow professional and personal. And also I am part of a team that is Héroes Latinos and Friends of Corazón, we will run a marathon to support the San Youth Children Research Hospital. So, and thank you. I am very happy to be part of this committee, and thank you again.
Thank you. All right, I appreciate you all hanging in there. Adam.
Hey, my name is Adam Randall. I live in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and I'm the CTE coordinator at Henley High School. And that's kind of cool because it's a relatively new position. Last year was supposed to be the first year of full-time 7 periods a day CTE coordination, but COVID kind of wiped out our funding and changed the plans. And so I got 1 period a day for the year. And what that really means is a CTE coordinator is just supporting the 6 CTE programs we have. We're a small 4A school kind of out in rural Oregon. If you probably watch the news, you've probably seen us and realize that we have no water. And that's quite a bit of a crisis because we're a really agricultural rich area. And it's causing all sorts of tension right now down here. In the 6 CTE programs that we have are engineering. And what's cool about that is that our professor, or our teacher, is a woman, and more than 50% of our engineering students are girls, which is not common in very many places. And a lot of them go on to 4-year university to study engineering. We have business marketing, health occupations, which is fantastic because we've got Oregon Tech in our town, which is a great health occupations hospital. It's actually where my wife went. She's an ultrasound tech at our local hospital. And we've got the hospital in town, the only hospital around for a lot of our folks. And so that's a really successful program. And we have ag mechanics, which is traditional shop, woods, metals manufacturing, ag science. I think I already said business marketing, and then digital art. And so my job as a CTE coordinator is to simply help those folks accelerate the growth of their programs. And through a lot of barbecues in the last year, so there's a lot of businesses that want to expand in our town, or business owners who want to buy a second or third business, or business who want to relocate to our region because it is one of the cheaper regions in Oregon. And those people can't do that because there's no skilled labor. And so our job the next 3 to 5 years is to kind of meet the demand in our region so that businesses can expand and grow and move here and have a lot more of our kids with high wage, high demand jobs. So super excited about getting to do that job 7 periods a day next year at our high school. I was a manufacturing engineer for 4 years after graduating from Oregon State in engineering, and I've been teaching math and engineering the last 14 years, and part-time CTE coordinator at several high schools, my previous high school and the current one. And I guess a fun fact is I spent about 100 days out of the year fishing and hunting and camping. And that's one of the reasons why we moved from Bend to Klamath, is we can do all those things without any people and any crowds. And I also coach the baseball team at our local high school. And in the picture, you can see we're fairly busy. That's my wife, Kara, who works at the hospital. Owen in the center's 4, Everett, who looks like me, sitting on my lap, is 3, and Ava's 1 now. So looking forward to stealing some ideas for the group on how we can kind of meet the skilled labor shortage and professional labor shortage in our region.
Thank you. All right, Rosa.
Hi, my name is Rosa Lopez, and I was really enjoying listening to everybody's story, and I'm really looking forward to a time when we can meet in person. And I also have a lot of questions for everybody I wish I could have asked. So I'm the Career Pathways Coordinator at LCC. I'm a faculty coordinator, so I focus on curriculum and design and program design. At Lane Community College, I have experience building stackable credentials, experience with IBEST programs, which are programs that support English language learners, GED students, or students with skill gaps so that they can access CTE and develop those skills at the same time. I have a very strong background in creating equitable, accessible pathways for various populations where we actually design the program and the support structures around the population that we need to serve rather than try to push populations into other structures. And like I said before, I really enjoy collaboration. So I've been part of several statewide collaborations and I see so much value with this and I'm so excited to be a part of this and I can't wait again until we can do this more in person. I absolutely love languages. I study linguistics and have several language backgrounds at various degrees of fluency. I enjoy creating structures out of cardboard or used materials. So whenever I get a weird shaped piece of cardboard, I generally turn it into something that moves or something that is artistic. And my partner and I are launching a contractor's business this summer. So that's, oh, and just one more thing, I'm really passionate about contextualized learning through CTE or hands-on learning at all levels down to the most youngest of children. And then my pictures are really just, honestly, except for the one picture in DC, all the other pictures were from this year of COVID. So studying at home, doing things with masks, and that's my little workstation in the corner of my bedroom there. So.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. I think there might be a few people, and I apologize if there were things happening in chat. I can't actually see it while I'm in share mode. Did it stop sharing? Yes. Right? Yes. Okay, great. So there might be a couple of folks that didn't get a chance to introduce themselves. Curtis and Heather, I believe.
I added my slide real quick.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I must have, let's see. I must not have it. Let me refresh and see if I can't pull that up. Okay. I think I see it. If you have it in front of you, you can start talking and I'll get it up for folks to look at.
Okay, perfect. I'm Heather Fix, and my title, I'll be stepping into a new role in my building next year. So I've been a high school counselor almost all of my career. Next year in my building, I'll be a Dean of Students / Student Support Specialist, which is a new position helping to support restorative practices. I'm also, well, other duties as assigned, so also the internship coordinator for my building and then the CTE coordinator. We have 3 distinct CTE pathways that I'll help facilitate and support with the teachers. Organizations, I am currently at the Beaverton Academy of Science and Engineering. It's a option school in the Beaverton School District. We're a 6 through 12 school with about 900 students. I've been there 2 years. Prior to that, I was at Westview High School, and then before that in Molalla. And I'm enjoying the focus, and then also being around middle schoolers. It's a new thing for me. I've been historically with 9th through 12th graders, so 6th graders look pretty small, but looking at how we can implement CTE pathways down at the middle school level and support that interest and the skills is pretty exciting. The strengths I bring, I have been an educator for 19 years all across Oregon, started in Redmond, Oregon as an English teacher and now over in the Portland metro area. So really diverse experiences with different populations, different views, different resources. I'm passionate about supporting underrepresented students and the CTE programs. I think that my creative thinking lends itself to that. I really like figuring out how to plug in students' interests and families' interests as opposed to just, because not everybody is on the same path, but there's a path for everybody. I've been, was a CTE coordinator in Malala, just kind of by default of, that's what I got to help the ladies. So we had 3 amazing female teachers. It was pretty cool to have a female welding teacher. And our ag teacher was also female, some of the best people I've ever worked with. And just their passion and support for the kids and what they did. It was pretty cool. Out in Malala, the kids finished up with a tractor certification. And explaining that when I came over to Beaverton, I was like, no, that's really a cool thing. Was kind of fun. I've also been a high school counselor, or I guess I still am. I don't know if I can really step away from that yet. And then I'm a farm girl at heart. So it leads into my fun fact. I grew up on a working ranch. We had raised draft horses. We had 20 head of draft horses that my mom worked to bring as an endangered species. So got to learn all about endangered species, bringing them back. Bucked hay. I really don't feel like kids have lived until they've bucked some hay. And we should have a class in that. Everybody needs to do it. Get some grit, get some sweat on, and I can drive a 4-up, which I like to wear high heels. And so when I tell people I can wrangle a draft horse and drive a 4-up, they look at me kind of funny. I'm a passionate mom. I like to bake. I have 2 kids, a 15-year-old and a 4-year-old, that keep me super active.
Thank you. All right. I think we have one more person. Curtis, would you like to? I'll leave that up so you can see what the categories were.
Oh, sure. Yeah, my name is Curtis Bullock, and I'm the principal at Sabin Schellenberg Professional Technical Center in North Clackamas School District. We have 18 programs at our school, and we serve all of the 912 students as a part of their day. So if you're familiar with Portland Public, imagine Benson, except that Benson has core subjects as well. We don't. So we only do career technical programming at my school. And so kids come as a satellite and then go back to their home high school for the rest of the time. In terms of my strengths, I know thinking about sustainability and sustainable change, keeping in mind that we all have our unique talents or our unique things that we bring, but at the same time, the chances that any of us are going to be in that one place until we retire is pretty unlikely. So then kind of keeping that in mind so that we're creating systems that can be handed to the next person to pass that baton. So kind of thinking about that kind of structure to change or to organizations is something that I think is pretty important. Critical leadership in terms of being the first and only Black leader that my school has ever had, being the very likely one of the first, maybe relatively small number of folks who will be in my district as a person of color in a principalship position. And so thinking about those issues that our students handle in the hallways, our students handle as we create the pathways where they're going to go to their next steps in community college or training or 4-year college or military, that kind of thing. So thinking about that sort of critical nature of history and context being really important and active and alive for our students is something that I really care about. And then, in terms of that kind of connecting to the other thing I wrote down, which was essentially social justice work that somebody mentioned, wealth gaps and things like that, and that CTE is an essential part of closing that, I think. But also, even if a kid doesn't go into CTE or into a CTE career, that the problem-solving skills that they learn in CTE are unique. There's a lot of magic to the way that kids might feel really dumb in other classes, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, in my culinary classroom, you can tell me how many third cup scoops we need to get to 1 2/3. You can do this, you can learn. So there's a lot of magic there that I think is super, super important. And in terms of my fun fact, I am a doctoral student at Lewis and Clark, and that is fun, but challenging. So maybe a little bit more fun part of it. I'm a painter and I make stationery, and you can find it at savethepostalservice.com. So that's what I do on the side.
Awesome, thank you. I know I was kind of giggling there when you said fun and PhD. Yeah, okay. So I think I've got everybody. I do appreciate your being willing to share with everyone and taking the time to create those slides. I think it's real important. I know we spent quite a bit of time on it, but I do feel it's very important to get to know one another as we start to build this group, and especially, being remote. I think the more we can do that, the better. So what I want to do is kind of give people a little bit of a break. So let's go ahead and take a really quick 5-minute break. And then just so you know, when we come back, we'll just get through the agenda as far as we get through by the end of the time, and we'll just push everything else back. I might do a little of improv in the moment there and skip a few things. But if we need to circle back around, we will do some of that at the next meeting. So go ahead and take a 5-minute break. It's 12:08. If everybody can be back by 12:13, that would be great. Thank you. All right, we've hit 12:13, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So again, everyone will have access to all of the slides and the minutes and all the things that we are showing here. So if I do skip through or go through some things quickly just to try to get us to a certain point by the end of today, you will be able to go back and look at some of these things. So in the minutes, I'm going to be showing the Google slides from the CTE in Oregon. So if you would like to have it up on your own screen, but I'm also going to share. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quickly. And again, I'm going to pop over a few things only because for time's sake. So I'm going to skip over the first part about, just talking about CTE in general and kind of what the benefits are. And but I'm sure you guys all have your own ideas around that, and hopefully you will bring those with you to our conversations. But I did want to go over specifically what CTE looks like in Oregon, and sort of how it's structured and the players. So basically, this is a slice of the CTE ecosystem in Oregon. And so you can kind of see that the largest square there is our families and students, because that is, we are centered on our learners, and all the things that we're doing are for the benefit of our students. If you look across the bottom there, equity and civil rights is the foundation for CTE. And then these are our, the business and industry folks, CTE leaders and educators, the state CTE team members, which I'll talk more specifically about here in just a minute. And then we have CTE regional coordinators and CTE deans. And we'll talk a little bit about those relationships today, but those will evolve more over time as we work together as a group. But we just wanted to give you a quick overview of that. So here in Oregon, we have a partnership for the state CTE team leaders. So it's a coordinated effort between Oregon Department of Education, specifically the secondary post-secondary transitions team, and the Higher Education Coordinating Commission's Office of Community Colleges and Workforce Development. So we work together to shape CTE from K-12 through post-secondary education. And so part of what we did to structure how we're going to do this is we created a state plan. And it basically underlines the importance of collaboration and coordination, the value of engagement of partners across the systems. It provides a strategic plan and broad goals to achieve that plan. In addition, it contains action steps to achieve those goals, and together they form the foundation of the work. And the CTE state plan is a big piece of what we are going to be asking the advisory group to help us with, help us with the components, making sure we've got everything in there, we're not missing anything, and sort of giving us feedback, how we're doing, what things we might need to change, that kind of thing. And so we want you to be pretty familiar with the state plan. So I'm going to talk more specifically about that right now. So the vision that we have set forth in the state plan is that Oregon will reimagine and transform learner experiences in order to enhance their future prospects, empower their communities, and ensure equity in an inclusive, sustainable, innovation-based economy. Easy, right? Not so much. And that's kind of where we want to make sure that we are working towards that, and hopefully you guys will be able to help us making sure that we are doing that. Some essential elements of the state plan. Again, all learners will benefit from high quality CTE programs of study, and I'll talk specifically about those more in a minute, that lead to meaningful careers in high skill, high wage, in demand careers that provide individuals with a sense of pride and contribution to their communities. All learners at all age levels will be empowered with information to successfully navigate pathways to a meaningful career through intentional exposure to and communication about the different careers and opportunities that are out there. All learners will be able to make connections between technical and academic learning in education settings and in the workplace through work-based learning opportunities, which is also a really big component of the state plan, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And then all learners will learn from knowledgeable experts who contextualize learning and create robust integration of academic and technical content. And then all learners will benefit from flexible learning systems that allow Oregonians to gain necessary skills where and how they best meet the learner's needs. So those are some essential elements of the plan. And as a foundation, we have a commitment and a focus on equity, and that is woven throughout. ODE and CCWD are committed to advancing equity through the following practices, centering on equity in rulemaking, budgeting, and resource allocation processes by drawing upon data and stakeholder feedback to identify and interpret patterns of inequity, by building fluency and comfort with change through continually working to strengthen systems and partnerships to remove barriers, and pursuing meaningful collaboration with communities and students who are affected by our decisions around CTE, and providing comprehensive outreach and communication into the communities around CTE. So, a cornerstone of CTE in Oregon is our CTE programs of study. And what they are a non-duplicative sequence of secondary and post-secondary career-focused courses that could lead to a post-secondary certificate of completion, a degree, or an industry-recognized credential. They feature contextualized and hands-on courses with a minimum of 2 high school credits currently, and then that will increase to 3 by the 24-25 school year. Equity, access, and inclusion must be built into the program from the beginning. And all state-approved CTE programs of study must include all of these 5 elements, and that's the standards and content, alignment and articulation, accountability and evaluation, student support services, and then the professional development component. And one of the things that we are working on within our state plan is to actually develop statewide CTE programs of study. So a lot of it right now is being done on a local level, but what we're trying to do is sort of align things. And they're driven by industry, a common framework, shared learning, shared goals, and it makes it more efficient and easier to communicate what these standards are. And we are starting off with these 4 areas. So actually work is already currently underway to create the standards for manufacturing, business management and administration, information and communication technology, and then architecture and construction. And this next slide here just gives you a little bit of an idea about a timeline. So again, we are working on those first 4, and the plan is to sort of implement these things slowly. So as you can see, by the 2022 year, we will start developing the frameworks for automotive and heavy equipment, education, law, public safety and security, and then natural resource systems. So we're trying to ease into the transition and not like changing everything, all at once. And we've contracted with Education Northwest to help us conduct this process. So just a couple more areas that are specific in the state plan that we wanted to call out and draw your attention to, and career exploration. So we have now expanded down into the middle schools to ensure that we are providing students with comprehensive career advising, communicating the economic opportunities available, and K-12 through college and through adulthood. So we are expanding some of the things that we're doing within career exploration. And this is just we're kind of just giving you a taste of some of the things that we are working on. This is a recent graphic that was just created to visually show, all of the connections between the different stages of career development, and how they're interconnected. And it's not linear, people kind of go through and participate in different activities at different times. Another area that has been called out specifically in one of our funding sources for career and technical education, and that's Perkins, and we'll talk more about Perkins and Perkins 5 at another time. But work-based learning is also another big focus of the CTE state plan. And we're trying to, increase and expand the work-based learning opportunities that are available to students within the state. And it's just a really quick reminder of the value of work-based learning, so I'm sure a lot of you are already aware of. And this is just a visual to show you all of the other partnerships and things that we are trying to work, relationships, partnerships, and connection points that we're trying to make within the state. We're also trying to work to align and braid funding with other federal and state initiatives that support CTE within the state. I'm sure quite a few of you are aware of some of those other federal and state funding sources, and we are trying to align some of our work with those, so so that we can have more impact for our students. So these are just some resources that we're hoping you all will become familiar with if you're not already. And so what I wanted to do now is give you guys an opportunity. I'm going to put you into some breakout rooms. So I'm going to stop sharing and give you guys an opportunity to kind of chat with each other